teaching is all around authentic expression coming from the higher dimensional spaces of you and allowing the space for the customer to be safe so that they can evolve and expand too. That's really the gist of the whole class. It's just different venues of making that happen. And so I was like, well, I need to embrace that, right? I need to be that space of spaciousness so that they can be the space of spaciousness
Yes.
in their own
Yes.
outreach.
Yes. I love that. And I don't know if I'm unstable for a minute. We have a rainstorm going on and I just got a link saying I'm unstable, but it went away.
You're
So
okay.
hopefully, I love that because that's what we are in Acasma consciousness. When so many times I've used the term with the people when we come in, welcome to the space, that's presence. And whenever we connect in and allow ourselves to go deeper, I'll always usually say, let the body drop.
Mhm.
And when you mentioned the abdomen and the stomach and the posture, even, uh, there's something to that release of maybe even more of a man-made idea of how you should hold your body, you know? And a lot of times it's, yes, really restrictive to the flow of the energy through the form when the
Mhm.
body's held that way. But when the body can drop and you're really welcome to the space yourself, you're in the presence of that space. Yes, then you're flowing your consciousness and that information at a different vibrational uh, flow state than if you were restrictively with the body and the notes and all of the other things. It's not that those spaces aren't as good or they're wrong. They're just different. They're
Mhm.
just different. And
And it also depends on how you interact with that space. If you know what I mean? It's like if you, because what you were talking about with dropping the body and the belly and everything like that, it's like allowing yourself to soften. Because I think that when, especially when we're talking about in regards to convergence, especially, is the tendency when you're thinking about the way we've been taught culturally is when we talk about business, when we think about business or outreach, and we think about technology, we have to do something, we just like suck everything in. And that's not our flow state, right? That's not our flow state. And it used to be really, really hard for me to write emails to my clients, like you send out like marketing emails or whatever. It used to be really, really hard for me to do that. It would take me hours and hours and hours and hours. And this morning I just like popped two or three out, just tick, 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 because it's because of that spaciousness.
yes,
Because I'm like, just be spacious in this moment with what you're saying. Speak from your heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, just like let them know what you need to know. Let them know what they need to know. And let that space be soft instead of so pushy and jagged and contracted. So
yeah,
spaciousness has really been my focus.
I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. It's a different vibrational flow point because the other is more restricted
Mm-hmm.
for various reasons, including a connection point to the old programming. And
Mm-hmm.
you're running a new program, you're running a new vibration of you in connection with this. Do you find it fascinating? I do that. Yes, as we run new programming in our own beings, if we're connected with others like we do with teaching and so forth, clients, we witness ourselves, which is what I think you're saying here completely. But we witness ourselves um, change the way we be us in ways we've been us for years. So you might be teaching for 20 years, but if you really shift your vibration, your understanding of yourself and the world around you and the connectivity thereof, the way you be you changes to fit that new way in which you're flowing, the vibration of you, right? The frequency. And that
Totally.
is completely connected to how you were holding your body,
Mm-hmm.
completely connected to how you were even viewing, understanding, and connecting with the understanding of spaciousness. And it would definitely start, you would think, with the calendar. Absolutely agree with you 100%. People think, because I'm a busy person, I'm a busy woman. If you say what constitutes busy and you say that it's a calendar that makes someone busy, but do you know an empty calendar with one or two things on it and the program running of that restriction you're talking about can feel busier than a person who has something every single day of the week, maybe multiple times a day, who knows spaciousness.
Mhm.
If you know
Exactly.
spaciousness, there's no more busy period,
Exactly.
because every
Exactly.
single thing you're doing, you are only doing it.
Yes, and for me, I totally agree with you. And for me, the other space of that was I'm only doing what I am doing in that present moment. I'm not trying to think about, plan about, blah, 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 blah. But also the way that I hold it is different. Like even the now moment is less controlled. In business and in culture, we are taught that there is a perfect way to say something. If you say it just the right way, they'll buy or they'll understand or, whatever. And that's really not the case. It's all about connection and heart connection and conveyance. And it's hard to be in heart connection. It's hard to be in conveyance when you are in a contracted state.
Yes,
For me,
absolutely. No,
and so
absolutely.
I
They're
thought, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I don't remember what I was going to say. You go.
Well, the contracted state is that different vibration, right? And it's going to produce a different experience. It's just energy. It's not even,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, yes. And so when you're doing this beautiful convergence course that is assisting people in, and I think even that has changed since when we first said what it meant that this
Yes.
course was. So
Yes.
it's understanding technology. It's coming from a higher state of understanding of technology utilized to assist light workers in this word of spiritual awakening. But there is this new us rising. Yes. So it's not just the light worker learning how to use Zoom or learning how to make an email template, but it's that light worker learning themselves as spaciousness.
Hmm.
It's exactly everything you're saying, Kirsten, is exactly what happens when we teach Acasma Quantum Energy, any levels that we're teaching, when we're teaching anything connected into our higher selves, higher mind, higher heart. Yes, higher consciousness. The teacher fully experiences everything, either as and or before, both usually, before they teach it and they even as they teach it. So everything you're gaining, really give yourself that beautiful, precious space to make note of it. Write it down a million times over. Make, whatever notation you can in whatever way. If it's a little phrase you come up with or art you create and or long journal of, your thoughts that understand spaciousness now or presence now or the connectivity thereof, because they're really interconnected.
Hmm.
When you have presence, you are spacious. Everything is more spacious when you have.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's what you're gaining more clarity on because that's what you're bringing to them.
Hmm.
You see that? I mean, I
Hmm.
know you do, but it's like, wow, this is so beautiful and so powerful.
Yeah.
So people that are coming to your convergence course can learn how to work Zoom, can learn how to be professional from a higher dimensional standpoint of understanding, templates for emails, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But they're going
And
to learn
it's
how to be spacious.
exactly how to be spacious, but also how to redefine, how to unravel the paradigm that we've all been swimming in for so long. We don't even know it, right? Some people have some awareness of it and they're ready to move out of that. But we're bringing it, and this is the other thing too, is what I've seen with the students is they become a connection point into all the businesses that they deal with.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
all,
as they interact with the space of their business or their outreach, however that is for them, whatever ratio that is, when they become the new space of themselves within that space, it becomes a portal of activation for other businesses that they interact with. The plumbing company, the water company, going to the grocery store, buying something on Etsy, whatever they're doing, because their frequency and vibration has changed, their understanding of themselves has changed, they're stepping into the spacious, higher dimensional, quantum expansive spaces of themselves, then that becomes an activation point for all the businesses that are ready to do that as well.
Yes,
You know,
this
I
is
mean, it's really interesting.
it's the
It's
ascension
almost
of humanity. This is how we're
yes,
doing it. This is how we're
yes.
ascending. It's all vibrational shift points and we're all interconnected. This is the same thing as in Acasma Quantum Energy when you teach foundations and you teach them ancestral healing, family lineage healing. Everything that happens to the client, the student, goes through the family lines. Everything that happens to the business person in the Convergence course goes through all spaces of connectivity with business. Yes,
I hadn't
this
even
is
thought of it that way, but that's exactly what I was trying to put the words to. Thank you. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
yes, there's no separating ourselves into compartments anymore. We're not in
Mhm,
compartmentalized spaces as our own individual selves, we can't
mhm.
do it anymore. Some people are still doing it, but they're not enjoying it. So, what do I mean by that? You have a space like this, and then you hit end meeting and you go be the other you with the other people. We can't do that anymore. We are this entirety of ourselves in all aspects of which we are. And it's the same thing happening with every aspect of us, whether it's our love lives, the spaces of us connecting into politics, medicine, science, history. It doesn't matter. Every single space of humanity is shifting, including business. And I'm just so
Mhm.
grateful that you created this space because the timing is absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
shifting of the consciousness of a planet and a species and the alignment of spaces like this that are implementing tools, guidance, even just when I'll say to people, when you hear me and you are just processing what I'm saying, that's giving it the ability to be. It's giving it the ability to anchor. And you're doing that with
Mhm,
business.
mhm. Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It's great. It's been really fun.
Are
Actually, it's
you
been really
still
fun.
you keeping the registration open for a
Yeah,
little bit?
registration is open until Friday, the
Okay.
17th at 11 p.m. Because if
Okay.
I can put in a fun number, I'm going to put in a fun.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now, in another way,
Yeah.
people are realizing too that this information, a Cosmo Quantum Energy, the Convergence course, it's so higher dimensional. Yes, that for some people it makes sense now that they revisit these courses. Like even
Oh,
if they
totally.
don't retake it, they go back in and read the PDF again, or they watch the video again because they're realizing the first time they're hearing it, they're like opening the door. And then the next time they're hearing it, they're actually standing in the doorway. And it may take the third or fourth time to walk through the door, and
Mhm.
really be able to implement. I've
Yeah,
gotten a
I
lot of
just
feedback about that. So,
yes,
yes.
absolutely. I just actually interviewed one of my students who took foundations at the very first, the fall one, and now she's on her
Oh,
third
okay.
time
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
And so I did a little YouTube video with her and I'm going to publish it here pretty soon. But she was saying, she's like, it's not that I didn't get it the first time. I was just only available at a certain level.
Yes.
And then the second time I was available a little bit more. And she's like, I feel like this time it's like really landing in a
Mhm.
way that it hadn't been available to her previously. And she's just like, every time I take it, I love it. So
I
yeah,
love
it's really
that.
fun. It's really fun.
That's really good
Yeah.
feedback. I love it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It makes so much sense. I think it was you in the very beginning, and I know we got to run, but you did AQE the very first time. I think you and I
Mhm.
did a YouTube video, and you said it's like taking something this big and trying to woof down to this
Yes.
and give it to somebody and have them understand. I loved
Yes.
when you explained it that way. And so and I think it's awesome that we as teachers have seen this and we understand this and we create these spaces where people can return, and it's
Mhm.
not seen as like, oh, you failed. No, no, no. You're
Mhm.
allowing even more of you.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
in fact, when I was interviewing her, she was saying exactly that. She's like, "I don't want people to think that
mm,
it was so hard I didn't get it. That wasn't it at all. It was just like I just want to come back and like swim in that ocean just
mhm,
another time to
mhm,
be in the frequency of it, to take it all in at a different level, and allowing students to retake the courses for free is like it's a gift to me and it's a gift to them and it's a gift to a cosmos, and it's a gift to humanity because we can't all be ready for everything all the time 24/7. That's just,
Mhm.
we walk through different spaces. And so maybe you take the course, whatever course it is, whether it's your course, my course, or whatever. And let's say it's a 9-week course, but week 3,
Something comes up.
something comes up and you're distracted that week. So even though you
Mhm.
took the course, maybe you weren't really available for that content in
Right.
the way that you normally would be. So then the next time you take, unbeknownst to you, you think you've done
Yeah.
it. I've done that.
Yes,
I've taken
absolutely.
AQE like, I don't know, 6 times or whatever. And every time there's something.
And
And
the teacher teaches differently. The teacher
totally.
is in another alignment. You
Yes.
and I are both realizing
Yes.
the more we do this, we're taking people deeper because we've gone
Mhm.
deeper. So it's like there's no like, oh, they're doing that, but we're not. No,
Right.
we're doing it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. I've noticed
it's
that a
really
lot with your
beautiful.
AQE foundations that you're teaching right now. You're teaching quite a bit differently this time around than you did last time around. I'm like, wait, what's
No.
You're
And
so good for me. You're so
mm.
good for Kirsten, who likes everything to be the same and linear, and sometimes I can be a little reptilian in the way that I move through my life, and hence the spaciousness, right? Just really trying to, like,
Yes.
be a little bit more spacious, and
Yes.
you push my boundaries. Every day, I'm like, She's doing something different again. Now I gotta, like, reorient myself, and it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good for us. It's so good for me
Yeah.
to always, like, not rest on my laurels, like, just like, like, "Oh, AQE Foundations, I've taught this before." It's you have like, if we are asking
Mm.
the student, if we are assisting the student, if we are assisting ourselves with being new, then we have to do that in the same way. We have to always be evolving. If we're always teaching the same linear space, we're not doing that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No,
But I
I
know that is my comfort zone. My
wow.
comfort zone is to, you know, do what works and just keep redoing it. And there is a complacency that I can get into in that. I think that's a familiar place for a lot of people.
It's actually science as well, and making me think here in a little bit of a new way as well. So, the understanding of energy changes, right? It doesn't, you don't get rid of it or stop it, or really, it can either, it will usually shift and change, right? But there is a understanding of energy. I'm not a scientist, but I heard this recently of dark energy. And I heard the definition of dark energy, and this is different from dark matter. This is different, but dark energy is energy that doesn't change. It's kind of stuck. And it's actually a term in science. And I thought, how cool is that? Because
Interesting.
when we allow ourselves to get into cycles or regurgitating the same concepts or whatever without the opportunity of what else is coming through, right, as the ever expanding beings that we are. Well, for me, that would be more like in alignment with that energy that's becoming stuck. It's not really open to move. And so there's actually a name for that in science. Now, somebody that knows science might see this and say, that lady doesn't understand what she's talking about. We mean it a little differently. But for whatever reason, I think there's something here for us to be able to take into the spirituality world of the understanding of energy and know that we are ever expanding beings. Yes. And that spaciousness that you speak of is what is anchoring in us right now, so that ever expanding can be there, because it needs that spaciousness because it's ever expanding.
Mhm.
And so everything we're teaching and everything we're learning, it's always going to move. It's always going to be an energy that is continually shifting into the next space of itself.
Acasma is all about freedom, right? Acasma, what we talk about with Acasma and what it brings and what assists everybody, whether you are a client, somebody watching YouTube, whatever, right? It's all about freedom and coming into the quantum space of you, and spaciousness is freedom. That
Yes.
is the epitome of freedom, is when you feel spacious in any place. Spaciousness is not about anything outside of you. It's not your calendar, it's not your financial picture, it's not your to-do list, it's not
Mm.
any of those things. Those things can influence it, but we can be spacious in the increments of all of those external forces, right?
I love
That's
that.
what I feel like is, and then when we're talking about convergence is how do we create spaciousness in our business? How do we create spaciousness in communication? How do we create spaciousness in our self-expression? How do we create spaciousness using technology? How can technology help us create and be more spacious within our own essence?
Yes.
So that's, I mean, I just feel like spaciousness and freedom and Acasma all are just dovetailing together
Yeah.
and moving each other into the next expansion point of that.
Cosma is the remembrance of the I am that we are.
Mm, yeah.
Yes, in the form. And the I
Yes.
am is spacious and the I am is free. So it's completely it.
Yes.
And the
And
outer,
go ahead. No,
no,
go. The
you
outer.
go. The outer calendar, it can play a part in it if we allow it, right? That's what we've been doing. But we're realizing that we are, uh, first and foremost, the inner, and the inner will then dictate the outer when that is understood and lived as. And so, even if the calendar is chock full, yes, of events, yes, classes, students, clients, whatever's on there, family, everything, if the inner is spacious, then every single event will be its own divine, spacious space and event and connection. And you never feel like you're worn out or tired or spinning or it's too much. If you do, then the outer is still in control and you are not coming from spaciousness of the I am. Right? I mean,
Exactly. 100%. 100%. And what I was going to say too, in addition to that, is when you're talking about a cosma and being an activation point of the I am, is embedded within that is the space of self-trust.
mm-hmm.
And self-trust too is the epitome of freedom. When
Yes,
you trust yourself to be in this space that's in front of me right now, and I trust myself to be in the space that's in front of me the next now and the next now, and I'm not worried about the time that came before and the time that came after and any of those spaces, that is the space of spaciousness. Spaciousness and self-trust are two sides of the same coin. One assists the other, you know?
yes, absolutely. 100%. And I'm really grateful that this is what is birthing in convergence.
Me
That,
too.
because you asked me in the very beginning, should you put the Acosma in connection with it? Can you put the Acosma in connection with it? And I was like, you we I said put it on there because I believe this is how you live. I believe you are a cosmic consciousness, right? Yes.
Yes.
So a convergence is allowing that consciousness of us as the higher self, the higher heart and the higher mind, yes, to run that in through our ways of doing business. Yes. Yes. And I love that you even added in it's going to all of the connective points of all the ways in which we do business. And yes, all the other businesses. I
Hmm.
mean, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Every single space we touch through the consciousness of the remembrance of our I am, cosmic connection, cosmic consciousness, every single space begins to expand into that alignment of itself. All of it. I have to jump off here, but this has been
That's awesome.
fantastic. You're
This
amazing.
is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And this was
Thank you,
laid at your
Denise.
feet with gratitude for your leadership
Thank you.
with the Cosmopods of Light. Thank you for
Yes,
that.
I
Thank
received that.
you.
Thank you so much. This was
Thank you for your
beautiful.
beautiful sacred joy pod and for all that you're doing there in that
Yes, I
space.
just facilitated their C to C this morning and it was beautiful. I cannot wait to record the session notes because it's such an incredible space.
If you're not already in the beautiful Cosmo family of light, it's a free community. And Kirsten is one of the leaders of light. Yes. And she has the sacred joy pod. So if you are feeling a connection with being spacious, if you're feeling a connection with trusting yourself and allowing your flow, consider this space that she offers here, this beautiful sacred joy pod. That's a free community. If you're ready to run your business in a new way, consider her beautiful Acasma Convergence course. Yes. And if you're already not a facilitator of the Acasma Beautiful Consciousness, she'll teach you how to do that as well.
Yes, that's right. I will do all that. I am all those spaces in the most spacious way you can imagine. Thank
All
you,
right.
Andrea. This was wonderful.
Blessings, Holy One.
I love talking to you. Thank
I
you,
love
thank you.
talking to you too.
Yeah, I love
Mwah.
you. Bye.